what they had heard about certain tenets in their previous religions before coming into Islam, they transferred such teachings in the interpretations of the Quran, and some Muslims imbibed such and wrote such as part of tafsir. And that is Israelite tales, not part of Islamic tafsir. Then they got to Medina, and he was welcomed with pomp and pageantry. Who was declared a fugitive in his homeland, in his fatherland, then became a person who should be given a red carpet arrival in a foreign land. So that brings about the lessons we should learn from Hijrah. Now, among the lessons which are the effects of Hijrah, is that it brought about a universal leadership for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was rejected in his own land by the people of Makkah. After all, Allah had promised him about the city of Makkah itself. When Allah said, La uqsimu bihadha al-baladi, I swear by this city of Makkah, wa anta hillun bihadha al-baladi, you are a freeborn of this city of Makkah. Nobody can make you a fugitive for faith. Nobody can expel you totally. You will soon return, because you are a freeborn and you are entitled to all rights and privileges accorded every freeborn in Makkah. Wa walidin wa ma walada. Every right and privilege accorded parents and children who are freeborn, you are entitled. That is the significance. With that, one knows that he will soon come back to reclaim Makkah, even without waging a war. So he became a universal leader over the Jews, the Christians, and the new Muslims who had accepted Islam. And these people were ready to cooperate with him. He initiated a charter, which was the first constitution, that this should be a document of agreement binding us together as people of Medina. And secondly, it brought about the establishment of Islamic brotherhood proper. After settling down, that he was given a place for his mosque, the Muslims, the Ansar, who had come with him, who had hosted him, had to accommodate the Muhajirun, those who came with him from Makkah. They gave them land, they gave them all amenities of life. And this was reported in the Quran, chapter 59, verse 9, that وَالَّذِينَ تَبَوَّأُوا الدَّارَ وَالْإِيمَانَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ يُحِبُّونَ مَنْ هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِمْ that these people were very faithful, that they fell in love with those who migrated to them. And they give them all amenities of life at their disposal. وَلَا يَجِدُونَ فِي صُدُورِهِمْ حَاجَةً مِّمَّا أُوتُوا. And what they have given, they do not recall it. Wọ́n sì regún lórí nǹkan tó ti fún àwọn ọmọ àjèrò. So that shows that Islamic brotherhood and love began to be expressed with Hijrah. Do any one of us learn from this? After all, the Quran has praised them in Surah Tawbah by declaring that السابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين تبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه. That the foreigners, the vanguard of Islam, من المهاجرين والأنصار, among the muhajirun, the emigrants, wal-ansar, and the oaths, who are the helpers, وَالَّذِينَ تَبَعُوهُمْ بِإِحْسَانٍ, and those who followed them in good faith. رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ. Allah is well pleased with them all. وَرَضُوا عَنْهُ, and they are well pleased with Allah. أَحَدَ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي تَحْتَهَا الْأَنْهَارُ. Allah has promised them the gardens of paradise. خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا أَبَدًا. That is where they will reside permanently. ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. And that is the highest form of success or achievement in the sight of Allah. Then after Hijrah, came the law of Islam. That is part of the lessons from Hijrah. Because if Allah had not instituted Hijrah, Islamic law would not have been spelled out in the Quran. Because all revelations that came in Makkah were about faith in Allah. Issues about Salah came when they got to Medina after Hijrah. That was when Allah had to instruct them to observe Salah. Then when they were observing Salah, they were facing the direction of Bait al-Miqdad. Later Allah gave an instruction that they return the direction of Salah to Bait al-Haram. That was the change in Qibla. After that, then revelations began to come on Islamic law. All legal matters about Islam had their background in Medina. Then this Hijrah was responsible for the institution of Islamic calendar officially. Because while in Makkah, the Prophet and his people were busy with how to battle with the hostility of the people of Makkah. But when they settled down in Medina, they were able to think of what next about the spread of Islam and the institution of Islamic culture and Islamic values. And to crown it off, it was the result of Hijrah that led to the final occupation of Makkah without war. How did they occupy Makkah without war? It was these Makkans who were creating problems. They initiated wars. At a point, the Prophet did not want to go into war with them. Only that, he wanted to go into Hajj. And this led to the initiation of the Treaty of Hijrah. When they felt his presence in Makkah or Kaaba would create problems, they felt threatened. And in consequence, they had to enter into an agreement. And this agreement led to the final occupation of Kaaba and Makkah by the Prophet and the people. And the Treaty of Hijrah was broken by these Makkans. When they violated terms of the Treaty of Hijrah, then the Prophet said, "Oh my people, Abu Bakr and others, let us go. It is time we have to go to Makkah. That time, last year, we were denied opportunity of Hajj. Today, nobody will deny us. Let us go." And as the entourage of the Prophet were coming, the Makkans saw them and they were ashamed that after all, they had broken the treaty. So, what excuse did they have to disallow him from entering Makkah or worshiping in the month of Kaaba? And they were able to occupy Kaaba, occupy Makkah without war. And as a result of that, all the fetishes, idols, placed within the premises of Kaaba were thrown away like stones by the Muslims in the presence of these Makkans who could not react.
Allahu Akbar.
So we can see from the lessons of the Hijrah of the Prophet that there are so many of us who are unwilling to change positions, saying, "It is where I was born that I grew up that I will die." You are losing a lot. You are creating retrogresses for yourself. If the Prophet had vowed and they had refused to respond to the instruction of Allah to leave Makkah, he would have been killed in Makkah, and his message would not have been a universal message that we are imbibing and transferring from one generation to another generation over centuries today. So, one should learn that migration itself brings successes and achievements where you do not expect. Let us see the city of Lagos today. Apart from Lagos, see many developed cities, countries and nations. Are they developed by natives themselves or by foreigners who migrated to come and join them in settling down? You find out that when you settle down at a distant land, what you consider unfit for you to do in your fatherland, you do in a distant land and you make honor, you make wealth out of it. Iṣẹ́ tó ọmọ onílù ò lè ṣe. Tára òkè bá ti a fi lówó a fi kọ́lé mọ́mọ onílù rárá. And with migration, the weak becomes strong. You may be unacceptable, you may have nothing that makes you an unrecognized and unaccepted personality in your home base, in your native land. But when you travel out, you go and work, you struggle, and you are blessed. You become an important personality that the family will be seeking, that with your consent and your money we want to do this. That without you, we cannot arrive at a conclusion over this. That is another lesson from migration. Because it makes one turn around from the status of a fugitive, that an unacceptable personality who has run away, to become an acceptable leader whose voice and whose pen are taught for making conclusions. So we can learn our lessons that a Muslim should not be adamant about migration, and a Muslim should not be passive about development in life. So we should learn from the migration of the Prophet that there are benefits in migration. Allahu Ta'ala Ahalam. Wa salatu wa salam ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So for a Muslim, for you and me, whatever we want to embark on, we just don't jump at it. We have to plan, think through it before we embark on such expedition. And of course, we establish for us that because we want to do that, you see the display of the truthfulness, the honesty, sincerity that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also demonstrated. Because he was living, he doesn't make a jungle judgment that all the things I have with me, I have to fly away with them. See what he did with Ali, leaving all, so that whoever that has trusted him with one thing or the other, it can be properly returned to the owner. And of course, some of the companions of the Prophet, you see the brevity they demonstrated. Yes, in spite of the planning, the strategic planning. Yes, the people have to know because they are watching on Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we had it several times that Ali was made to sleep on the bed for him. His brevity of Ali has made him to do that. And even when Umar was leaving, you see another demonstration of the brevity. You cannot just be in your offices and they say, in here you cannot pray and you just keep quiet there. And that one leads us to the real Hijrah itself. The migration from the Darul Kufar, Darul Jahiliyyah to Darul Islam. So wherever you are comfortable, especially in worshiping, establishing the rules and the dictates of Almighty Allah, what are you doing there? You are not created for that place. Then move to where you can excel. So Muslims should not be afraid of movement when you are looking for progress, changing of environment, for a better thing. And of course, with consistency, perseverance, tolerance, truthfulness, the truth will always overcome falsehood. And that's what happened. Yes, you have to be consistent with it. You have to pacify, you have to tolerate, and eventually what will be the end, you will see that the truth will still overcome this falsehood. And of course, when you landed in Medina, you also saw a lot of things that we are learning. the governance, the style of governance. There are a lot of things to learn from the governance established by the Islamic precepts when they arrived in Medina. And of course, that is the place the first constitution in the whole world was established. That's also a reference point from then to tomorrow. And of course, what do you know about brotherhood? The practicalization of the brotherhood and the essence of the brotherhood itself. You see it in display when the Ansar and the Muhajirun, when they made themselves in Medina, and you can see all those. And of course, emanation of the Sharia guided by Allah from the Quran, where the revelation were coming and put into practice, were also exhibited in Medina. And of course, this Hijrah is also a reference point for Islamic culture, reference point for Islamic values, reference point for Islamic dating. We have all that content of the Hijrah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And of course, we also see that yes, there is need for agreement. There is need for relying on whatever agreement you have made with your brother, and all these ones were things. Some of the things we learn from the Hijrah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that is a lesson for us to learn. Now we take your contribution and question.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Obviously, there are a lot of things to learn from the lecture, passage that I made. But one key word above all is that Treaty of Hijrah. I've been hearing of this, I've read about it, I've learned of this, but one key thing just came up today, and we've always said it that Islam will crown the world. A lot of things that have been cited thousands of years ago is what the entire world are now embracing. What am I drawing here? Today we have a memorandum of understanding. Obviously, there was no memorandum of understanding when the Treaty of Hijrah came up. It was a form of agreement drawn by, and this is thousands of years ago. So, I mean, what else do we have to say as Muslims? I am proud to be a Muslim, apart from all the learning points from what the lecturer has given us. This Treaty of Hijrah is something that we should really teach on. Today, when we have a memorandum of understanding, it really exists before the treaty. I'm sure the treaty has found a justice for all the MOUs that is drawn today. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much. Very eye-opening explanation. My question is what around the economic importance of the life of a Muslim. The fact that we live in Nigeria and life is so hard, so to say. Not everybody finds it difficult, find it comfortable to live under a living standard. So do we consider it the right footstep to migrate from Nigeria to a better country where you can have life in abundance or comfortable, starting with power, for example. Many people are not here today because possibly transport system is so far in this country. Yes, they're from the country. So unfortunately, you don't take 2 hours. So looking at all these factors put together, are we saying it's okay if somebody champions the cause of migrating from Nigeria to a more better, robust economy where you can live better? Because if you don't live better, there is no way you can escape from around. It's very difficult. If that is so tough, you will be tempted to look at other way of living. So where we have life more comfortable, practicing Islam is very much comfortable as well. So should we present that an option to migrate from Nigeria to a more comfortable and relaxed environment?
So, Mr. Lecturer, that you can respond to the first one's contribution. We have a question written in here. Let's take it from the when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abu Bakr were in the cave. Yes, one of the exposés today is that the inclusion of the tale of Setiu is not part of it as well. But I know so many things happen there, and he wants us more exposition into that. And of course, migration for economic purposes is it permitted. More so, poverty can lead to kufru. So that is the question of my brother.
The question is very critical. And faith is important. Economic life is equally important. Because as a Muslim, without a good economic life, you cannot be a good husband to your wife, and you cannot be a good father to your children. If there is no economic life, how do you train them to become good Muslims? How do you feed your wife that you would not be a concubine to another man somewhere? So, that's why in Islamic law, the issue of responsibility and economic life of the home in a family rests on the shoulder of the man. That's why I cannot relegate the importance of economic life. But when we talk of migration, you can migrate in order to seek greener pasture. But do not forget your native background. The reason being that even the Prophet ﷺ, as he had migrated to Medina, he was not made to forget the importance of Makkah. Allah himself had addressed his mind to the importance of his native background by saying, Anta illun bihadha al-balad. So you can do that if the economic background, or if for economic factors and social factors you cannot practice or express your religion, then you can migrate to where you can express your religion. And you take cognizance of the fact that where you are migrated to, you will seek empowerment not as a militant, to go back home to make sure that you entrench what is missing that has made you live at first instance. Allah Ta'ala Allah. Then a question comes in form of a document from my elder brother, whose name I have seen, that kindly explain further the spiritual and mundane significance of what is it? Allah ensured in the cave. What ensued in the cave before the Prophet and Abu Bakr left to Medina? Issues of contention are arisen from this, just like the case of Surah in your lecture. What ensued in the case? Prophet and Abu Bakr were in the cave. One of them had a sting of the scorpion. Who was that? Abu Bakr. And the Prophet had to recite Surah Al-Fatiha on it. The pain left and it became healthy. There was no magic there, no use of charm. Because I know that what has gone into that cave, some pseudo-spiritualists among us who want to make use of that particular occasion in history to milk her pocket. Yes, I know what they do. I know them. If I meet them, I know them. They will tell you it was this particular thing that they did there, and they cannot say it publicly. Àṣírí táwọn fi ń jẹun ni. Kò sáṣírí kankan bẹ́ẹ̀. Kí ni nǹkan tó ń jàṣírí? Tèmi nǹkan ta bò mọ́lẹ̀ tó yẹ pé ta bá ti ṣí àárín àti ṣí àṣírí. Àṣírí náà fi ẹ̀. So that is what has gone there. And it was the ignorant ones amongst them who came with the proposition that it was that occasion that led to the death of Shetiu. That Shetiu will be casting incantation on the floor by drawing calligraphy and will be telling you what will happen tomorrow. And he was telling them that they were there. That I'm seeing human beings there. And those people were saying we couldn't see anybody there. And there is a poet who said, Asidiku Filigari, Wasidikul Ma'ahu, that Asidiku Filigari, the man who opposed the truth, is in the cave. Wasidiku Lamia Rima, he was there with his friend at